Welcome to the Maturity Project. I am your host, Jed Everbroshears. All right. This is one that I constantly topic for today is one that I have regularly found a significant amount of benefit in, and one that I do have that I have to remind myself on occasion as well. But for the most part, it's pretty much a default place to be at this point. Curious about that, you find value in this video, I would definitely say, hey, subscribe to the channel. I promise the content will continue to get better. We are failing forward and failing up, as well as hit the like notification or the bell. I'm sorry. Hit the bell notification so you know when these videos go up, and hit the like button so that we can help with the algorithm. So, all right. What I'm talking about today is, look, we're all going to make mistakes. Whatever your goal is, you're probably not very good at achieving it just yet. That's why it's a goal and not something you've already done. Most of us think that it's just going to happen in time. Well, that's not a guarantee. Time is typically going to be part of that formula because the goal has to have some sort of time from right now if you're not currently there, right? Simple. But you could say, hey, I want my goal, and you could forever want your goal because you don't know how to study the experience of getting there. If you know how to study the experience of getting there, you will get there. The thing that you'll likely experience, though, is you won't recognize when you're there because you're going to get really caught up in the process of getting there, which is what the people that hit those, wonderful goals in life do. I can speak from experience with that, with all the goals that I've achieved in my life, because I got to tell you, there's a lot of things that I've accomplished, and I just didn't even put the recognition in until one day going, oh, wow, those things that I now have, I actually said it out loud that I wanted those things and I was going to one day acquire it. And then, lo and behold, I went through the process. I got really focused on the concentration of the behaviors necessary to get there, but I missed it when I got there, right? I didn't even get it like when I made the transaction to purchase those things, when it was the objects to purchase or to buy, to acquire. And the other is the things that I have experienced along the way, same thing. But what we don't understand is whenever you get the call and somebody says, hey, this is happening. Like I've always wanted to be a father. I have. I love my son. Always wanted to be a father. I didn't think I was going to be in my life because of the way that my life had been going. Living a very interesting bachelor life. And, one day I find out, hey, you're going to be a father. So yes, this is the Maturity Project. That does not mean that the method that I got to, that I actually acquired, they got me to that point where I actually have a son now, is that it was wrong. It's all about maturing. There are many, many paths to get to where we want to go. So one good thing about that is that it's not boring to get there. The other good thing about that is that if there was one path to take, then people could be gatekeepers on that path. So they can say, hey, you know what? You don't meet the grade of what I actually think is necessary for you to achieve what we have. Even though you're doing all the right things, we're blocking you here. Because you can formulate systems and methods to stop people from acquiring that thing, for gatekeepers in place. Now, that may sound a bit esoteric, but there are definitely barriers to entry that can be created. Governments do this all the time. Businesses do it. That's what actually monopolies typically are, is they create barriers to entry. They do what they can to suppress any other businesses that are trying to come into that industry. Because that one particular company or groupings of companies have a monopoly, or the space has been occupied and they are restricting other people from coming in. Some of that can be done through economics, things like that. I just have a really low negotiated rate. I have a really good relationship with a manufacturer of these particular ingredients or products that are necessary to create this. And I am not going, I've already told them if they want to buy the product from them, that either don't sell it to them or sell it to them at a much higher rate, or give them some sort of hardship to achieve or acquire it. I know that gets into the business maturity aspects of it, but it is something that is actively occurring in the business world. It's just a matter to what level, right? There was a movie that was made, what was that? I think it was Horrible Bosses 2. I think that's what it was, or it's the same group. I'm pretty sure that it was Horrible Bosses too. They went into business together and they created this shower head thing or whatever. And the company that wanted to buy their shower heads had placed a very, very large order, excited the hell out of them because they thought that this was the opportunity to make it big. But it was going to be a very, very challenging thing to produce this many. And then when they put their assets into it, the company put a freeze on the purchase, or said they're not going to purchase it from them, or lock them into the agreement, but there was nothing they could do. And they had no other way to pivot. They basically had, because of their immaturity in business, fell into a trap that the other company had created. And then the movie's antics, go into the comedy side of it. And it's actually it's a fun movie to watch. But anyway, so those things happen. But I don't want to digress. I've already digressed enough on that subject to give you some sort of insights, because this is also part of the process, is to really get you thinking. I just want to, put together that kindling that's necessary to, once the spark falls into it, it's going to catch on. And before you know it, you're going to have, an inferno of momentum towards something that can potentially make it unstoppable. The goal is to keep that fire going so that you are truly unstoppable towards getting to your goal. But a lot of times what it is that the things that you don't know that are necessary kind of come in and damper, something about that fire, right? Yet you don't want to take a step back, take a break, rest, relax, put your feet up, or, it's okay, you got your butt kicked, and just go and crawl into a cave. Well, the longer you're in the cave, the more they lose momentum, and you may not even come out and do it again. A lot of different things come out of it. But the goal is this: you made some mistakes. Did you learn from them? If you study the process, you're going to get much further. So when you get into a business situation, if that's what you're after, you study the mistakes that you've made. Don't over leverage. This is another thing that a lot of people do. They over leverage, which means that they put too many of their assets into a specific direction that, if it is not facilitated, it can be dangerous and damage them and actually crush them, takes them out of the opportunity or the business, and potentially even creates an emotional impact that prevents them from entering it again. I just never know. So life's about learning from the mistakes that we have, that we create. Now, with your goals, if you learn from your mistakes, you're going to have a better process. Your journey will be different. And you keep learning from it. Eventually, there is no other option but to succeed. Because you can only fail so many times. As long as you're consciously aware that you're in the process of failing, you'll eventually not fail. So keep it up, no matter what it is. Weight loss, fitness, relationships. There's all kinds of things that fall into this. So anyway, that's the topic for today. Hope you take something from it. There's a lot more to talk about, but I don't want to ramble on. Let's make a shorter video and to see if it's more consumable. Put your comments in the comment section. I'm not coming to you as your guru. I'm just coming to you as, hey, can you and I kindle a little something here? Can we put a little fire in, to get whatever it is that you want to accomplish moving forward? A lot of times it's our ignorance that shadows out the opportunity because you don't know what the hell it is. And right on the other side of that shadow could be exactly what you're after, the success, and it may be that pot of gold on the other side of the shadow. You don't know. You don't know. Because you don't know what it's like. You've not walked that trail yet, or that path. You have not completed the path yet. Now, for the things you have completed, you know whenever you're supposed to achieve it. You know because you've done it. Same thing with me with business when it goes into like going into a fitness facility and correcting the challenges that they have. I've done it so many times, I can do it asleep. It's just, I get it. You go in, and these are the things you need to do. This is what you currently have, and you train and develop the people that are necessary, and you treat the customers a certain way, and you train and develop the customers too, by the way. And you produce the outcome you're out to produce. So that's it. It seems incredibly simple, and I'm making it sound really simple because it actually is, but it's all the details that are inside of it that hit people with a complexity if they're not familiar with it. For me, I can understand a predictable timeline once I understand the variables that are involved. I can turn this place around in a month. Well, I can do that with any place. I can turn it around in a month, but do they have the budget to actually get the new employees in? Because retraining takes a lot. You don't know where everybody is, but you bring new people in, that's all they are going to know. So 1 month you can get a whole thing turned around. Fantastic, easy enough, but do you have the budget for it? I'm not a big cutthroat guy. I don't want to go in and just take everything away from everybody. I always like to interview, get to know them to see if they are salvageable, or if there's another company they'd just be better to work for. Because the path of the one that brought me in, that's going the direction it's going. And my job is to try to help make sure that they align with it so that they can support that goal. If not, they should support somebody else's goal. Simple. not heartless. I'm just trying to prevent people from having all of that frustration that builds up because their ideologies don't align. You know, and yeah, so that's my method. You know, all right. Well, anyway, there's actually quite a bit more to it. So don't hold me to a point of contempt because you don't understand necessarily where I'm coming from. I'm not cutthroat at all when it comes to that. Learn from the past, learn from your lessons, and create something that's a wonderful future. That's exactly what's developed me. And I have always come from a place of keeping my heart as part of the process. I don't go from the nastiness that people do with the business thing. Look, hey, it's just business. Like, hey, yeah, but that's also who you are. And if you're not that way in your personal life, eventually you will be, because how you do anything is how you do everything. And it will lead to a life of misery. So, do you want that? By the way, a life of misery is a slow process. But all these little encroachments before you get there, before it all falls apart, you get used to it. And then it all falls apart. Same thing with joy, by the way. A life of happiness and joy, it's incremental and you build up. It's not a lottery winning thing. Once you count your blessings, and it's not. I mean, you can change your mindset, and it seems like it, but there's still a lot of actions that are required. So, all right, put a comment in the comment section. Share this video with the people in your... Jesus, let me start over on that, because remember, it's failing forward and failing up, and I'm still doing it. Share this video with the people in your life that you want to enroll, that you are up to something. You do not need to share this video with them to depend on them to give you anything of their resources. The goal is really simple, and it's the absolute base level, which is all it is you're just letting them know you're up to something, because if you don't, when you go through the stress of change, which will happen, even the joy of change, if they don't know what's going on, they're going to be like, are you okay? Something is really off, and they're going to do what they can to try to get you back to the thing that they consider to be your balance prior to your goals, the actions of your goals. So if you don't share this, if you don't share with them that you're up to something, their empathy can pull you back. It pulls you back to where you were. They're not doing it because they want to sabotage you, because they don't want to see you successful. They're doing it because they know that that was a place that you seemed happier, more content, less stressed, and more supported. That's it. That's almost always why they're doing it. Keep that in mind. That's why you want to share the video. That's why you want to share this process that you're up to, just so there's nothing else. They just don't try to pull you back, and they can say, hey, I don't know how to help you here other than I got you. I'm a cheerleader for you. I'm a supporter. I bought your merchandise. I got whatever, right? Whatever it is to support it. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I am Chad Everett Brochures, and this is the Maturity Project. Now, the past, let's put it this way. The mistakes of yesterday give you the opportunity for success tomorrow. So let's do it together. Let's go. It's going to stop.